Hello everyone, welcome to a new Power BI dashboard video. In this video, we are going to create this beautiful employee attrition dashboard in Power BI. So if you want to follow along, the link to the dataset is in the description, or if you want to buy the dashboard, the link is in the description. So I will request you all to please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. So let's begin. So let me begin by giving you a brief overview of this dashboard. In this dashboard, we have a side panel for page navigation. We have two pages. The first one is dashboard and the second one is model prediction. So here in the first page, we have card visuals, we have a decomposition tree, we have a pie chart, and we can also analyze this average monthly income by age and by department here. Then we have a bar chart for resignations by education field. So in this first page, we are going to analyze the reason for resignation by different measures such as by gender and department, by monthly income, and by age and by education field. So moving on to the next page. In the next page, we have our model prediction. To explain this, I will refer to my original data. So here you can see this is our original data. In this data, we have a column for resigned, which is telling if the employee resigned or no. And the next sheet we have is our model prediction. So here we have the original resigned column, and then we have our model prediction, which we did on Python. So this model prediction, it takes a sample from the original data, and we have created a model which will predict if the employee will resign or not. So here you can see the probability of not resigned and then the probability of resigned. So if the probability of not resigned is greater than the probability of resigned, we will say that the employee did not resign. Here you can see the probability of not resigned is less than the probability of resigned. So here it says yes. So in the second page of our dashboard, we are comparing our model prediction results to the original data. So let me just show you here. As you can see here, this is our table for our model prediction analysis. Here we have the resigned column from our original data, and then we have the resigned column from model prediction. So here you can see the resigned is no and the model prediction is also no. So this means our model is right here. But if we scroll down, we can see the red ones here. These are the ones where our model prediction is different than the original resigned column, or you can say where it is wrong. So here we have analyzed all our data for model prediction. Here we can see the model prediction accuracy, which is in the form of a pie chart. So our model is 81.91% accurate. And then we have this bar chart for actual versus model prediction. So let's begin creating our dashboard. So I have opened a new Power BI file, and our first step is to import our data, which is in the form of Excel. So I will choose Excel workbook and navigate to where my data is. So just give it a minute. So we have two sheets in our data as we saw in the Excel sheet. So we will choose both of these and click load. So we have successfully imported our data into Power BI, and our next step is to change the background color of our canvas. For that, I will go to visualization, format, canvas background, and I will change it to this color. Okay, and we will set the transparency to 0. Okay. Okay, so next we have to insert our top bar. For that, I will go to insert shapes rectangle. I will adjust the size of this rectangle. We can go to general properties and change the height to 66. Okay, and go to shape, change the color to white, and turn the border off. Okay, we have our top bar here. Next, we have to insert the menu icon over here. So I will go to insert image, and I will insert this menu bar. Okay, so next we have to insert our text box. So I will choose this text box and write employee attrition dashboard. I will change the size to 20 and make it bold. And I will go to effects and turn the background off. I will resize this box and place it over here, like this. Okay, so next I have to insert a slicer here for male and female and also a text box. So I will choose this text box and I will write male slash female and I will change the font to DIN and remove the background and place it over here. So for the slicer, I will go to my data. I will first insert this slicer from here and I have to insert for gender. So I will drag and drop gender into the field. So here we have our slicer for female and male, but we want it to be presented as F and M, just like in the original dashboard, this one. So to make it like this, what I would do is I would go to gender, I will right click on it, and I will create a new group. Okay, so for female, I will choose this female, I will group it, and I will double click on it and rename it to F. Similarly, for male, I will group it and double click on it and rename it as M and click OK. So now you see we have a new group for gender. I will drag and drop it into the slicer field. So now we have F and M. So I will go to format and change the slicer setting to tile. We also don't want this title, so I will remove this slicer header. We will resize this like this. We will place it next to male and female. Now we will go to format and also remove the background of the slicer. Okay. Go to values and we have to give background color as we gave to the canvas. So go to background and change the color to the one we used for canvas. We also don't want the borders, so we will go to format, visual, values, border, and turn these off. Next, we will create a slicer for department. For that, we will again insert a slicer, or we can just copy and paste this one, move it here, and instead of gender groups, we will insert department, this one. But we don't want the full names of these departments, so we will do the same thing as we did for genders. We will create a group. So I'll go to new group, choose human resources group and rename it to HR. Similarly, for research and development, we will make it R&D. For sales, we will keep it the same. Click on OK. And now delete this department from the field and drag and drop the newly created one. Okay, so you can just change this size. And for the text box, we can copy this one. Actually, we can also make this in capital. Okay, now just copy this. So just copy and paste this, bring it here and change it to department. Okay, so now that we have created our slicers, so let's now create a wireframe for our visuals. So first of all, we have to create shapes for our card visuals. So I will go to Insert, Shapes, Rectangle, and I will go to General, Properties, and set the height to 130 and set the width to 155. Okay, so the color of this shape would be white. So I will go to fill and change this to white, and we don't need the border. So we have 4 card visuals as we saw in the original dashboard. So I will copy and paste it like this, and I will just arrange them. To align them, we can just simply select all of these, go to Format, Align, and Distribute horizontally, and align top. So next we have to create our shape for the decomposition tree. So I will go to Insert, or I can just copy and paste this one and place it here. Go to General, Properties, and change the size to 286 and change the width to 513. Okay, copy and paste it over here, and for the average monthly income chart, the size is 430 and the width is 688. So for the last chart, we can just copy and paste this, bring it here, and go to General, Properties, and the size is 283 by 513. Okay. Okay, so we are done with our wireframe. So we will start inserting our visuals. Our first visual is card. So I will select this card from here. I will drag this to here. And our first card is for total employees. So I will go to ID, drag and drop it into the field. So now it shows me the total count of ID, which is total employees. So I will rename this to total employees. Okay. I will go to format, call out value, and change this to 16. I will make it bold and then go to category label and change the font to DIN and change the color to this one. Okay. We can copy the same card for all 4 of these like this. So our next card would be for the number of total employees which resigned. So for that, select this card and remove this field from here. And instead, we have to look for the resigned column. Put it here and open this drop down and change it to count. So here it shows the total count of entries in the resigned column, but we only need for the employees which resigned. So open this filter and we can just drag and drop resign into the data feed here, and from here just select yes. So this now shows that 237 employees resigned. So we will change this label. So we will change it to employees resigned. So our next card would be for average monthly income of the employees. For that we will search for monthly income and we will delete this from here and drag and drop monthly income into the field. So we have to calculate the average. So I will choose this drop down and select average from here. Okay, and we can just rename it to average monthly income. And we also again put a dollar sign. So our next card would be for average age. So we will remove this from here and search for age. We will drag and drop it to the field and select this drop down and select average. So just double click and rename it to average age. So our next chart is the decomposition tree. So we will select decomposition tree from here, drag and drop it here, resize this, and in the analyze field we will drag and drop resigned column, and we will explain it by the gender and the department. We will search for gender and then department. I will use this department group, drag and drop it here. So if we click on this plus sign, we can first analyze it by gender, and then we can just click on this plus sign and select department. Okay, so now we need to rename this count of resigned. So just double click on this and remove this count of, or instead you can write total resigned. Then we have male and female, and then we have the department. So we also want to rename this department group. So just select it and remove this groups from here, hit enter. Okay. So now I want to add a background behind this. So for that, we can just go to headers and select background, and I will assign it the same background as we did for the canvas. So here it is appearing in the recent, and I also want to change the color of these bars. So I will go to bars and go to colors, and I will change this positive bar color to this one. Okay. Okay, so now I also want to change this line under this gender and department, and the color of this connector. So for that, I'll go to tree, connector, and I will change the selected line color to this one. Okay, so I'll just resize this, and now we need a text box over here. For that, I will just copy this text box and bring it over here. We will rename this to resignations by gender and department. Resize this, and we will change the font to this one, and we will change the size to 12 and make it bold. Okay, so moving on to our next chart. Our next chart is resignations by education field. So I will just copy this text box, bring it down, and we'll rename it to resignations by education field. For this, I'll be using a bar chart. So from here, select this bar chart, place it over here, resize this, and we have to insert education field, and we will insert resignations in the x-axis. Okay, so now we have to format this visual. So I will go to general effects, remove the background, and for the title we don't need it. Similarly, for y-axis I will remove the title, and for x-axis I will also remove the title like this. We also don't need these grid lines, so go to grid lines and turn them off. Okay, now to change the colors, we will go to bars and we will select this option, conditional formatting, and the format style would be gradient, and we will also add a middle color. So we will base this on the number of employees which resigned. So select resign from here. For the lowest value, hashtag 768692. For the center value, we will use this color 00A499, and for the maximum value, we will write 18DECB. Okay, click OK. So you see the colors have changed, but we don't need this legend, so we can just turn it off from here, and our chart is complete. Okay, so our next visual is average monthly income by department. So I will just copy this text box, drag it here, and rename it to average monthly income by department. So now we will insert a donut chart, place it here, resize this, and we have to show average monthly income by department. So we will use department in the legend and the monthly income in the values. Okay, so now we have to format our visual. We will remove this title. So go to general, turn the title off. We have to change the color of these bars or these slices. So go to slices and we can change the colors. And for human resources, we will give a darker color. And we also, this is showing the sum of monthly income. We will change it to average. Okay. So now we have to change these detail labels. So go to detail labels and we only want the data value. We can just increase the size. And we will change the color to black. Okay. Okay, so now we have to create another chart at the same place for average monthly income by age. So what we can do is we can, for the time being, hide these visuals. Go to selection and hide this. Choose this and we can also hide this. And for average monthly income by age, we will use a column chart. Place it here. And in the x-axis, we will have age. And in the y-axis, we will have monthly income. And we will change this to average. Okay, so this is showing the average monthly income by age, but we will divide the age groups so that the bars are less. So I'll just go to age and we will create a new group, and the bin type and the group type would be bin, and the bin size would be 10. Okay, so instead of age, I will use the age bins so that we have lesser bars or columns, and I will rename this to age. And we will now format our visual. We don't need the title for the x-axis, y-axis. We will remove this, and we also don't need the grid lines, so I will remove the grid lines. And for the bars, color of the bars, we will go to columns and we will go to this formula and we will select gradient, and we will base this on average monthly income. So we can also add a middle color. So for this, so for the lowest value, I will be inserting hashtag 768692. For the middle color or middle value, I will be using hashtag 00A499, and for the maximum value, we will be using hashtag 18DECB. Okay, so we will remove this legend from here, and we will also remove the title. Okay, perfect. Now I will copy this text box. I will drop it here, and this is average monthly income by age. Okay, so now we need to create a button over here so that we can hover to average monthly income by department. So I will go to insert buttons and create a blank button. Drag it here and go to style, turn the text on, and for the text we will write here by department, so that when we click on this button we will be redirected to the average monthly income by department chart. Okay, so we will assign it a background. Go to style, turn the fill on, and the fill color would be the color we used for the canvas. Okay, we can turn the border off. So for the time being, I will group all of these visuals together. Select all of these, open the selection panel, right click and click group. And I will rename this to average, or I can just rename it to age. Okay, I will just hide them and we will turn these back on. And here we will also create a button for by age, so that when we click on it, we will be redirected to the age chart. So similarly, we will select a blank button, place it over here, and we will go to style, turn the text on, and here we can write by age and turn the fill on and assign it this color, turn the border off. Now I will select all these visuals and go to selection and create a group. I will call it department. So this way, when the age visual is hidden or the age group is hidden, I will be seeing the department visuals, and when the department is hidden, I will see the visuals for average monthly income by age. Okay, so now we have to create two bookmarks, one for department and one for the age group. So first we will create for department. To create a bookmark, go to view, bookmarks, and I will select both of these by pressing Control. So I have both of these selected. The department is unhidden and the age is hidden. I will click add. I will click on these three dots and I will check this selected visuals, and I will click on update. I will rename this to by department. Similarly, for the age one, I will hide the department and unhide this age. I will select both of these, click on add, and rename this by age, and go to these three dots, check the selected visuals and click on update. So this way we have created two bookmarks, one for department and one for age. Now we have to assign them to a button. So for the department one, I will select this by age button, go to this format button, turn the action on, and the type would be bookmark. And when I click on this, the bookmark would be by age. So when I click on this, it will go to the average month income by age graph. Similarly, for the department, I will turn the action on, type would be bookmark, and the bookmark would be by department. Okay, so when I click on this, it will go to department. When I click on this, it will go to page. Okay, so we are done with our first page. Let's just rename it to dashboard. For the second page, I will just simply duplicate this. We will rename this to model prediction. And we don't need these visuals, so I will just delete them. Select them all like this. Click on delete. Okay, so now we need to create the wireframe for our second page. For that, just move it here. It is selected and go to general properties, and we will change the height to 628 and the width would be 688. Okay, we will just copy and paste it over here, and we will change the height and width. Height would be 300 and the width would be 531. Okay, move it here, copy and paste it, move it down, and just align these. Okay, just resize this. Okay, so now we will start inserting our visuals. Our first visual is a table, so I will select table from here, drag it here, and we also need a text box. For the text box, I will simply copy this, move it here, and rename this to model prediction analysis. And I will change the font size to 12. For the table, we will insert the following fields. We will insert the first column would be ID. So I will search for ID. And this would be from the our second sheet, which is model prediction test data. First is ID. Then we have age. Then we have gender. Then education field. Then department. Then we have monthly income. Then we have resigned. Then we have model prediction. And then we have the probabilities. The first would be resigned, probability resigned. And then last would be probability not resigned. Okay. So we have to change the title of these headers. So the first one, we can simply rename all the titles by just double clicking on it. So I'm gonna skip this part. So I have renamed all the columns, and now we have to adjust the size of these columns. So we can simply, drag these columns and adjust the size so that the table fits in this shape. So you can just simply drag and resize. Okay, so I have resized all the columns. Now we will perform some other formattings on it. For that, go to visuals, and now we will go to values. The font size is okay. Column headers, and the header alignment would be center. Similarly, we don't need the totals, so we will turn them off. And now we will choose this specific column, and we will one by one align them to center. So select age, align them to center. So I have centered aligned all the columns. Our next step is to highlight those cells where our model prediction does not match the original resigned column. For instance, here you can see resigned is yes and the model prediction is no. So we have to highlight this cell. To do that, we will create a new column Go to model prediction test data, select new column, and we will write this DAX formula. Here we have a formula for accuracy check, which will check if the model prediction is equal to designed. So if this is true, it will give 1. If it is false, it will assign it a 0. So just hit enter. And to highlight the cells, what we need to do is we need to go to the specific column or cell, and we will go to series and select this model prediction from here, and we will turn the background color on, and we will base it on the newly created accuracy check. So now what we will do is if the value is greater than equal to 0 and change this to number, and it is less than 1, which means that if the value is greater than 0 and less than 1, which means that the model prediction is false. So for that we will choose a red color. Click on OK. So wherever the difference is in the model prediction, it will highlight the cells. We also need to change the font color of these cells. So select this font color, and you can assign the same accuracy check, change these to numbers, and the font color would be white. Change this to 1. Click on OK. So we are done with our table. We can further change the grids. We can resize the grids. So go to grid, go to options, and increase the row padding. Okay. Okay, so now we have to create a donut chart for model prediction accuracy. So I will copy this text box, bring it here, and rename it to model prediction accuracy. Now we will insert a donut chart, place it here, and for the fields, I will insert accuracy check in the values and also accuracy check in the legend. But here you can see the accuracy check is in 1 and 0. I need it in true and false. So for that, I will create a group, change group type to list, select 0 and select group, rename this to false. Okay, now we will group 1 and rename this to true. Now click on OK. Now I will drag and drop this accuracy check bins into this legend. So here now we can see it is true and false. I will rename this. Okay, and for the values I will change sum of accuracy check to count. So here we can see 240 are true and 53 are false. We will further change the formatting of this visual. I don't want the title, so I will turn it off. And I want to change the colors, so I will go to slices, change the color of true to this one and false to this one. Okay, so we are done with this visual. Okay, so now we have to insert two column charts, one for actual and one for resigned. So in the x-axis, I will put resigned, and I will put resigned in the y-axis. We don't need the axis titles. So go to format, go to x-axis, I don't need the title. Go to y-axis, I don't need the values and the title as well. To remove the axis title, the chart title, go to general, turn the title off. And to change the color of these columns, go to columns. For no, I will select this green color. For yes, I will select this gray color. Okay. So we can copy the same chart, place it here, and in the x-axis we will put model prediction, and we will put the same in the y-axis. Change the colors, go to columns. For no, we will select this green color, and for yes, we will select this gray color. Okay, resize this, move it a bit here. We also need a separator line. For that, go to insert, shapes, and select this line. Bring it here, go to rotation, and we can rotate it by 90 degrees. To change the color of the line, we have to change the color of its border. Go to border and change the color to this green. Okay, now we need to insert two text box, one for actual and one for model prediction. So I will just copy this text box, bring it here, and write actual, make it center, copy the same, and bring it here, and we can change this to model prediction. Okay, so we are done with our dashboard. We only need to add a side panel, which I showed you in the start of the video. I will go to my dashboard, and for the side panel, we will first insert a rectangle like this, resize this. I will change the color of the rectangle to this one. Okay. Next, we have to insert a back button. For that, go to buttons and select this back button. Move it here. We also need a text box, so I will just copy this, bring it here, and rename this to page navigation. Reduce the font size to 16. Change the font color to white. Okay, and just resize this. Next, we have to add two buttons for dashboard and model prediction pages. So for that, go to buttons, insert a blank button, move it here, and now we have to insert text. So go to style and the text on and write dashboard. Increase the font size like this, and go to fill. We will assign a green color like this, and we will turn the border off. You can change the font color to white so that it is more visible. Okay, we will copy the same, and here we will change the text to model prediction. Okay, so now we have our side panel. I will select all these visuals, and I will go to selection, right click, and group them. I will rename this to side panel. Okay, so now these are all grouped, so if I hide them, I will have nothing. Okay, so next we have to add a bookmark so that when I press on this menu button, the side panel opens up like this, and when I press the back button, the side panel is hidden. So to create this bookmark, first let's go to bookmarks. Okay, so I have this side panel hidden, and this menu button is showing right now. So I will create a bookmark and name it side panel close or side close. Okay, and go to these three dots and check these selected visuals, and we can uncheck this data and this current page and click on update. Okay, we need to create another bookmark when the side panel is open. So I will show this and I will hide this. I will select both of these by pressing Ctrl, and I will add a bookmark for side open. Side open. Go to these three dots, uncheck data, uncheck current page, and check selected visuals. Click on update. This way, when I click on this bookmark, it is now closed. When I click on this, it is now open. Next, we just need to assign actions. So for this button, for this image, I will go to format image, turn the action on, and assign it a bookmark. So the bookmark would be side open, so that when I click on this, the side panel opens up. Okay, so if you can see, the side panel has opened. Uh, for this back button, we will assign action for a bookmark. So when I click on this back button, the side panel closes. Okay, so let's test this. Okay, perfect. Okay, and for these two buttons, for dashboard, we can turn the action on, but we are already on the dashboard page, so we don't need to do anything. For the model prediction, turn the action on, change the type to page navigation, and the destination would be model prediction. So that way, when we click on this, we will redirect it to the model prediction page. So go back to dashboard. Okay, so now we need to duplicate this side panel in the model prediction tab as well. So what we can do is, I will just copy this side panel group from here, Control C, and go to model prediction, and I will paste it here using Control V. Drag it to the edge. Okay, so we have to repeat the same steps for creating bookmarks for this page as well. So I have my bookmarks opened. So for this, first I will create for when the side panel is closed. So let me just drag this image to the top like this. Okay, so now the side panel is hidden, and this menu button is unhidden. So I will select both of these and I will create a bookmark. Rename this to side open, side close 1. Okay, and uncheck data, uncheck current page, check this selected visuals, and click on update. So the next bookmark would be when the side panel is open and the image is hidden. Select both of these by pressing Ctrl and add a bookmark for side open. Side open 1. Okay. Uncheck data, uncheck current page, check this selected visuals, and click on update. So if I click on side close 1, you can see the side panel goes away, and when I click on this, the side panel appears. Okay, so just as we did with on the dashboard page, I will assign actions to these buttons. So if I click on this, it has to go to the bookmark side open 1. So if I click on this, it shows the side panel. Next, for this back button, it has to go to side close 1. Okay, and for this dashboard button, it should navigate to dashboard page, and for the model prediction, we can't assign anything because we are already on the model page. So we are done with our side panel. Let's test it. Okay, it's working fine. Okay, so we are done with our dashboard. Thank you so much for watching this video. In the next video, I will be making this beautiful YouTube analytics dashboard, which has 3 pages in it. So if you want more tutorials, if you want to see this tutorial, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you so much.